Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. I'm currently recording this in New York City, where I have the absolute pleasure of attending a 3-day event hosted by Chris Winfield and Jen Gottlieb. They are the owners of Super Connector Media, and they do excellent jobs of hosting masterminds and in-person retreats and all the things for entrepreneurs, business owners to really grow, scale, and just be better humans, giving to the world. Their specialty is helping people get on the media. So actually last night I got to celebrate being on a billboard in Times Square. Super excited. And so you're probably wondering, well, if I am tuning into this podcast and the title is 5 Mindset Hacks You Need to Break the Diet Cycle, why do I care about entrepreneurship? Well, I'll tell you why. You may actually be an entrepreneur listening to this, but I truly believe that every single human being inside of us has the entrepreneurial spirit. Now, whether you choose to live it out or not, whether that be you could even do it within your 9-to-5 or within whatever job you have, I believe the spirit is in all of us. And I believe that spirit is literally a metaphor for life. I genuinely believe me becoming an entrepreneur has changed my life. It's changed the person that I am. It's changed the mindset that I have. It is literally the reason why I'm able to keep going and growing and doing all the things. It's because of the mindset that I had to develop if I wanted to and still want to live and be an entrepreneur and be good at it as well, and like be able to kind of come out from the ups and downs, which is part of life and also part of entrepreneurship. So yesterday, the amount of knowledge that was provided in this one day, I can't even, I get emotional talking about it. I cried multiple times just because I admire so many people in that room, so many people that were on the stage, and they're 10, 15, 20 steps ahead of me. And at the same time, I know that they made believers in me, meaning like I know that I will be there one day very soon, and I'm really looking forward to it. And so the reason why I'm saying that though is because of everything that I was learning. I always tie it back to nutrition, right? I always tie it back to the diet cycle. And I think like for metaphorically, if we're going to kind of explain this a little bit more, someone who is struggling in business, right? So they might make a profit one year, be in the negatives the next year, be kind of even the following, then make a profit, then be in the negatives, or, obviously the whole entire goal of a business is to be profitable, but most businesses within the first 2 years are not. I don't even know the exact statistic. The last time I checked, it was literally, and I think a majority of business owners, businesses don't make it past the 2-year point. And beyond that, I think only like a small percentage actually become millionaires or whatever it is. And I don't care if that's what you define as success or not, but I think being profitable is considered a pretty good business. So with that said, it is not always easy to do that. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because when we are struggling in our relationship with food, when we come from years of dieting, we feel stuck, right? We don't feel good in our bodies. We don't feel good in our skin. And we don't really see another way, right? We only know dieting, right? We only know cutting out whole food groups, going on very low carb diets, low calorie diets, working out multiple days a week, making some stuff up in our head. I know when I was struggling with my relationship with food and trying to lose weight, I would just decide, oh, I'm just only going to eat an orange today, or whatever it was, skipping meals, trying to eat as little as possible. And like, we don't know another way, but the reality is we do know that eventually you come to this, like, come to Jesus moment, and you're like, why have I been doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results, right? Like, I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling like I'm not moving. I'm feeling like I'm not growing. And I'm ready to learn another way. Well, what I want to drive home today is that there is another way. Trust me, there's definitely a better way. But you have to believe it to see it, right? So the mindset that you choose to have is literally going to make or break, no pun intended, like the fact that you'll be able to break free from dieting, or you're going to stay stuck to it and you'll live your entire life obsessing over the number on the scale, not feeling good in your body, and then therefore not living to your potential. And that is not what we want for you. We want you. At Tips with Tony, our mission is to help you to break free from the all or nothing mindset, find balance in your eating habits so you can feel good in the skin you're in, and go off to do a bazillion other things, all the things you want to be, all the things that you can contribute to this world. Every single one of you listening to this is special and unique and has something. I don't know what that something is, and maybe you don't know what that is either, but you have something that the world needs to hear or see, whether that be in your ecosystem of your family, whether that be in your job, in your career, in your community, maybe worldwide. Whoever I'm talking to, I do believe that we are all creations of a higher power. And doesn't matter who you believe, who that higher power is, you were put on this earth for a reason, for a purpose, and it's your job to figure it out. And I don't think it's easy it's not easy to figure out regardless, but it's definitely not easy to figure out when you don't feel at peace in your skin, when you don't feel at home in your body, right? So breaking free from the diet cycle and changing your mindset will not only allow you to feel good and have energy and, just feel good in your body, but it's going to translate into being happier, taking more chances, taking more risks. If you can break the diet cycle, you can do anything. I truly believe that because it's not easy to do, but it is possible. So anyways, that was like a little bit of kind of why I decided to kind of bring in the mindset hacks that I was learning where it came through entrepreneurship and business and life, and helping you to implement them when it comes to, breaking free from the diet cycle and just living a healthier lifestyle. Okay. And mindset is everything. If you haven't heard, we actually just launched a new group coaching program. We start November 1st. November, I don't know what that word was. November 1st. We start November 1st. Sign up deadline is all the way until October 31st. And we created an 8-week group coaching program literally titled Mindset Reset Accelerator, because we know changing your mindset definitely takes time and can take years, but we also know that with the right strategy, with the right people, with the right connections, with the right education, with the right amount of accountability, that you can accelerate that process. So yes, it can take time, but it doesn't have to take that much time if you have the right support. I'll be sharing a little bit more about the group program at the end, but if you're ready to take action, you can definitely pause this episode before we go into the 5 mindset hacks, and you could literally just text me group to 914-219-6446. Text me group to 914-219-6446, and I'll send you more information of how you can get enrolled. Okay, so 5 mindset hacks that you need to break the diet cycle. All right, this is actually probably the first one I could have done a whole podcast on because I thought it was incredibly valuable, but here is the quick one, which is 51%. A lot of people here, you need to be, the 80-20 rule, most of the time, 90% of the time, 80% of the time, 60% of the time, 51% is something that really stuck out to me yesterday. And I don't know if this is something that Chris Winfield had created on his own or something he heard, but either way, it stuck. And so the concept of 51% is that you just have to try a little bit harder than not trying. Like, you have to care a little bit more than you don't. You have to believe a little bit more than you don't, right? So this idea, like, you don't really, you know that you don't want to diet, but you also don't know another way. And maybe like this idea that you can actually wake up every day and feel good in your body and not obsess about the number on the scale and like eat food without obsessing over it or binging on it, you know, or feeling out of control around it. Like if you're like having a very hard time thinking that that's possible for you, and trust me, I know when I was in your position, I felt the same exact way. You just have to believe it a little bit more than you don't. That's all. And if you don't believe it quite, then you got to take action, right? And you're going to have to, like, you know, if you're used to skipping meals and overeating, you're going to just have the 3 balanced meals a day. Like, you're going to have to start taking the steps, whether you believe it 100% or not, but you just have to believe it a little bit more than you don't. And that's the magic of the 51%. Being consistent is always more important than being perfect. Actually, being perfect is a lie. Done is better than perfect, right? So just take action, and take action consistently. Okay? And the best way for us to do it consistently is 51%, because we're not always going to be able to do 100%. If anything, if we try to do 100% all the time, we're going to burn out. And I think also it provides this idea, like, give yourself a little bit of slack and compassion, and know that it's okay if you don't feel, you know, 1,000, like, right? You don't have all tons of energy every day. That's normal. Our energy flows go up and down. Our moods changes, you know, day to day. You know, there's so many things that can get in our way. All you need to do is try 51%. It's actually magic. That was like music to my ears yesterday. I've actually never heard that before, so I thought that was great. All right. Number 2, mindset hack number 2. This is I needed this so bad, guys. I needed this so bad. I needed it so bad. Your mess will be your message. And I've heard this 1,000 times. It's actually been something I've been saying all the time, but I don't know why when it was somebody else was saying it, in the context it was being said. You know, Jen went ahead and shared her story of, you know, moving to New York City to be an actress. She got a great role, but then she, you know, her boyfriend at the time cheated on her, and she had to like start all over again. And she herself struggled with an eating disorder. So I'm actually going to see if she can come onto the podcast and talk a little bit more about it, because I don't want to share her story without, you know, her permission. Although I know she's okay with me sharing this much, but I don't want to go into too much detail. But she kind of seemed like on the outside, like she had it all together. But on the inside, what was going on was like everything was crippling and crumbling, and she was really struggling. And so there were moments, and I think we all have these moments, right, where we're like, what's the point? Why even try? You know, is this even true for me, right? And they kind of are just like, you know, what's the point? And the message I kept hearing throughout the theme yesterday was like, don't give up, just keep going. Because everybody that you see on the media, right, everybody that you see, that you look up to, you're comparing like your chapter 1 with their chapter 20. Right. And so in a book, to make a good book, if you guys read a book or you watched a story, right, or you watched a TV show or a movie, and like it was all one tone, right? It was all happy. There was no storyline. There was no triumph. There was no underdog, right? We always root for the underdog. That's not a good story. Nobody wants to read that, watch that, sit through that movie, right? Like, we want to know, even if we think we know the ending, right? Like, even if we're like hopeful that they end up together in the end, like we still watch it, right? We still watch the movies and the shows where it's like, of course they end up together at the end, but like you still want to see kind of what drew them apart and then why they came back together in the end, right? When it comes to like relationships and stuff like that. So sometimes shit happens so the shift can happen. That also stood out for me. So whenever you are feeling like everything is messy, everything is hard, maybe you woke up today and you binged last night, or you don't feel good in your body, you're looking in the mirror, you're not liking what you see, or you're feeling bloated. Rather than beating yourself up for what you did or what you're not doing, I really want to challenge you to be honest with yourself, right? Our mind likes to play tricks on us, and it likes to tell us, well, it worked before, so try it again, right? Whether that be on like a crash diet, or you'll feel better if you skip meals today, right? Whatever our disordered eating disorder mind, all or nothing mindset, whatever it's telling you, it's lying to you. And it's really important for you to recognize that and be honest with yourself and look at your patterns. And are you staying stuck in a pattern? Don't just think of what should I do next, right? That impulsive decision of what should I do next. And usually it's based off of things we've done before. It's play out the movie, right? I used to say this all the time, but I always have new listeners. I don't think it hurts to hear again. Like, what does that choice that you're about to make lead to? What is the end of the story? And are you okay with that, right? Because one choice is never one choice. Every decision that you make leads to another choice or decision, and another choice or decision, and another chapter, and another book, right? It's a domino effect. Everything is a domino effect. So really ask yourself, when you're kind of feeling like you're in the mess, remind yourself of what you've done in the past to get there and how can you change that. But more importantly, sometimes it might be, the mess might be you're frustrated because maybe you feel like you are doing all the things and nothing seems to be working. And you're kind of feeling like, oh God, like, why me? Or why isn't this working? Or, why do I have to try so hard? And maybe you are doing quote unquote the right things. Like maybe you really aren't dieting to the extremes, or, maybe you really are just like honoring your body's wants and needs and honoring your hunger and fullness cues and like really gently being kind to yourself, but yet you're feeling like nothing's working. Don't give up. I promise you, don't give up. It just means that you need a little bit more time, right? You just need to keep working at it. So that's your mindset hack number 2. All right. Mindset hack number 3. This was really helpful as well. You are one connection away from changing your life. So it's understanding, kind of going off of when you're feeling stuck or when you're feeling like you're in the mess, and you're not quite at that point where your mess has become your message and you're able to like tell your story and really share a little bit more about kind of, what you overcame and, all your successes and all that stuff. You're still in the mess. Know that you are one connection away from changing your life. So what does that mean? That means that there is probably somebody that you can ask for help. There is probably somebody that you can, join a group with or invest in, or, ask a question, get to know, listen to a podcast, follow on social media. Like there's something where you are literally one connection away from changing your life. And I think so many of us, kind of also going back to the mindset hack number 2 before, it's like we give up right before when that shift is about to happen. We stop trying right before when everything is going to change. And it's understanding that when you're feeling stuck, it's important to reach out and ask for help. And it's knowing that one person, that one connection that you choose to, whether it's invest in or communicate with or get to know. And connections like a little bit deeper than I would say, like, don't just be part of a group and be part of a group, right? Be active in that group, right? Get to know everybody in the group, or get to know that one person, or whatever it is. Connect and take full advantage of the challenge, or, the, person that you're speaking with, like talk with them, get to know them, ask them the right questions, that sort of thing. And just know that you literally, just by knowing one person, it can literally change your life. And I've seen it happen to me in so many ways, like so many ways. It's not really actually, is it what you know, but it's who you know. Once you get to a certain point, like, yes, especially when the field, whether it's, in your career or what, like you definitely need to have a certain like expertise and go to school and all that. But after that, like, it's fair game. I have another podcast on my mind and on my heart that I'm probably going to record in a bit, or, soon. And it's like, you just need to pass. Like, it kind of goes back to the 51% thing, right? Like, you don't have to be an A student to graduate college. maybe certain people in order to like get certain things or blah, blah, blah. Like, but the point is like, you just got to pass. Like nobody cares like what you scored on the SAT, right? Like nobody cares. You just got to pass. And then once you do that, it's fair game. It's absolutely fair game. So, and I say nobody cares, but I know college people care. But then I mean like after college, like nobody cares. Okay. Anyways, all right. Mindset hack number 4. You need to bet on yourself. You are your best investment. That is something that every single human being has said yesterday. All the people that are kind of further along in their careers, they got resourceful, right? So when they didn't have the money to invest in something that they truly wanted, they put it on their credit card, or they asked a family member, or they worked a second job. You know, they did what they had to do in order to bet on themselves and invest in themselves and invest in their future, because they truly understood that you can only control you. You can only control your own outcome. You are in charge of your life. You are in charge of your outcome. You are in charge of your choices. So if that was me, it's almost like, why would I give my money to someone who's in charge of their life when I can put money into, what I mean by that is like, why would I give someone else money to invest in themselves when I can't control what they decide to do with that money? Right? Whereas like if I choose to bet on myself and charge my credit card, which I did for this event, by the way, so you can get to know a little bit of behind the scenes of, you know, a business in a recession. We still work hard. We still do it, but there's the ups and downs in business. And right now we're in a down, and, I don't even know if that's like okay for me to share on a podcast. I have no idea, but I'm going to leave it there. It feels very uncomfortable. I'm being very vulnerable right now. It feels very uncomfortable for me to let you guys know that. But I think it's important because you probably look on social media and think I have all my crap together. It's like, no, I'm just trying to figure out now how to make it bigger and better. And every level there's a new devil. And right now there's some clarity lacking here, and we're working and we're trying. But I truly believe we're like, if you could see my fingers, I'm like trying to say like this close, like an inch away from things about to blow up and to be great and to come out of this, you know? And I decided I was stuck in a pattern and I needed to get out. And so I bet on myself by doing this event that I'm at right now. And I also hired another coach for something else. And I also, full disclosure, while I'm being vulnerable here, I went back to therapy, which I was out of for about a year. And that's another thing, like with therapy, my therapist didn't take, the reason why I stopped with her was because, you know, as a business owner, unfortunately, we have to pay for our own health insurance and we don't always have the greatest coverage. And so for a while I was paying out of pocket, and then business expenses were a lot. And unfortunately, I couldn't justify paying like $300 a session. Like it was too much, right? So I stopped going. Instead of, I probably should have just found someone under my new insurance, but I didn't. And it's no surprise, right, that this past year for me, I have been feeling a little bit scattered. I have been feeling unclear. You know, it's why I decided to go into real estate. And actually that shifted for me too. That was betting on myself as well. And I think that was like the start of me realizing, okay, I can do more. There's more things out there for me. I am capable and able, and I get to choose. So yeah, I've been defined as a dietitian for 10 years plus. Tips with Tony started in college as a blog before it was a business. And I can change. I get to choose, right? And I get to bet on myself, and I get to figure it out. So anyways, all that to say, now my therapist is under my insurance. So I'm back in therapy. I'm doing things. I'm betting on myself. I'm taking chances. I'm taking leaps. And I absolutely know it will be worth it. I know it. I believe it. And I see it. And that leads to number 5 of the growth mindset hack is declare it, be it, see it. Act as the person you're aspiring to be. If you're trying to be in a healthy body, if you're trying to be someone who has a healthy relationship with food, if you're trying to be someone who loves the skin that they're in, how does that person act? Does that person feel the pressure and the need to work out every single day of the week, to put into sweat to make it count? Does that person need to eat absolutely perfect and not allow for any sweets or any fun, right? Does that person forget to, forget to eat, or does that person never eat a fruit or a vegetable? No, that person has a healthy relationship with food, has a balanced mindset, loves the skin that they're in. They eat balanced and nutrient dense foods because it makes them feel good. They also eat the cookie because it's delicious, right? They wear clothes and they feel good in them and they have energy and they go out and they do things and they don't allow the number on the scale to hold them back, right? That's the type of person. If that's the type of person you're aspiring to be, then you need to act like that person, and you need to declare it to be true and to see it and to envision it. Because the other thing that I learned a lot from yesterday was that manifestation works, but obviously you have to work it, right? So, but put it out there, put the vision in place, decide what you want to look like, what you want to feel like, who you want to be like. And then the steps and the how and the opportunities will start to arise as a result. Okay. So you are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. You literally can do anything. You can be anyone. You can do anything. You are physically capable and able. And you might not believe it at first. But if you just believe it 51%, right? And you declare it and you be it and you see it and you just act and you ask yourself, how would that person be? Jen calls it, your version 2.0, right? How would your version, so like for me, how would Tony 2.0, how would she act? How would she be? Step into that, become that, act that. Sometimes you got to fake it before you make it. All right, guys, that is it for today. I kind of rambled a little bit. You got to learn a little bit more about, me and my mess and what I'm hoping one day will be my message. And I hope this inspired you. If it did, please share it with a friend. Take a screenshot, share it on your story, tag me at tips_with_Tony with an I. Subscribe to the podcast if you're not subscribed, or hit that follow button. If you write a review, it would be absolutely amazing. I'm going to start kind of looking at the reviews. And what I'll probably do is once a month, I'm going to put anybody who puts a review, I'm going to put them in like a little raffle thing. And one of them will win a $10 Amazon gift card. However, now that I speak that out loud, I'm choosing Amazon just because it's like easier for worldwide or most people in the world, I would say. But if you don't want an Amazon gift card, I could probably do something like Starbucks or Dunkin'. I'll let you guys choose, because I feel like some people don't like support Amazon, so which I get it, but I digress. Okay, anyways, write a review for me, please. That would be absolutely amazing. You'll get $10 towards something. Hopefully, you'll get entered into a raffle once a month. I'm gonna officially start this. This is like October 19th, so I actually have a little bit more than a month. So I'm recording this on October 19th, so the end of October, but all the way through November. Anybody that writes a review and has written a review up until today, till November 30th, you will also be entered into the raffle. So thank you so much for listening, for subscribing, for hopefully writing a review. And, oh my God, the most important thing, if you're interested in doing the Mindset Reset Group Coaching Program, we are starting November 1st, but we are enrolling now. So honestly, by the time you hear this, the spots most likely will almost be filled, if not filled already. So that's why I'm having people message me the word growth to 914-219-6446. Message me growth to 914-219-6446 to make sure, one, that spots are still available, and two, to make sure you'd be a good fit. So I'm not really doing any sort of discovery calls for this. We can just go back and forth in the text, and I just want to learn a little bit more about you. make sure it is a good fit. But if for whatever reason you're kind of feeling like you would prefer to have a phone call with me, just request that and we can definitely hop on a call and get to know each other better and, make sure it is a good fit. But my guess is that if you felt inspired to take action and you like the idea of changing your mindset in the support of a group and a community of people, of like-minded individuals who get it, you're probably a great fit. Like I don't see why you wouldn't be. But if you want more details of kind of what's going to be on the inside, definitely, ask me that as well. So again, if you're interested in joining the Mindset Reset Accelerator group coaching program, text group to 914-219-6446. Again, 914-219-6446. Inside, we are going to teach you how to say goodbye to diets and hello to balance. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.